Hey everybody, it's Callie, and today I want to talk a little bit more about OCD and the upcoming holiday season. So right now, many of us in the US are getting ready to celebrate Thanksgiving, and then I feel like we blink and all of the December holidays like Christmas and Hanukkah, anything else, New Year's, all the holidays that we celebrate right at the end of the year are just suddenly there. They're just suddenly upon us. And I've talked in a previous video about how the holiday season can kind of, pile on some added stress and bring about some extra anxiety. And this, I think, in turn can, for some of us, make our OCD symptoms like a little bit more prickly, if you know what I mean. And at that point, I guess I was kind of speaking more generally, but there are a lot of really specific ways, I think, that our OCD can really do a number on us during the holidays. Personally, I am a major overthinker, well, in a lot of realms of my life, but I'm a big procrastinator, and that I think is a little bit different. It's not what it seems like it is on the surface. It's not just I'm procrastinating to procrastinate kind of a thing. But one of the things during the holidays that I really struggle with is gift giving specifically. Part of this, again, I think it's probably a personal problem, but I really like to hand make my gifts, or like a lot of the gifts that I end up giving to my family and friends and loved ones, whatever. And in true fashion, like myself, I will put it off. I will think about it, have all these grand ideas of what I want to do, and not do anything until the last minute. And I will also not try and break it down into smaller parts. I'll just try and do it all kind of in the span of a couple days. I don't know. I don't know why I do that. You would think that I've had enough time and experience on planet Earth that I know that obviously doesn't work for me, but hey, here we are. So anyway, I'll like pile on all of these really intricate projects and try and complete them within a span of a couple days. And a lot of times it's not even things that I already know how to do. Like I'll see something really cool and I'll say, oh my God, I can learn how to do that. I can pick up that skill. I can figure it out, on the fly. And I don't allow myself to do things wrong. So I don't allow myself to practice. So I expect everything that I do to be perfect the first time, which we can see creates a lot of a problem. So it's something that I'm working on. I really struggle with black and white thinking in a lot of aspects of my life, and that kind of extends into the things that I try to do or the things that I try to pick up. And I don't allow myself the grace to make any kind of mistakes, and I expect it to be perfect the first time I do it. And if it's not like the best thing I've ever done right off the bat, I get really upset and I start to think that I am worthless and stupid, and I just expect perfection all the time. And this is already bad enough any time of year because I'm constantly discouraging myself from trying new things and worrying that I'm not gonna right off the bat wow myself with my, sudden new hidden talent that I discovered. But with the added stress, again, of a deadline for the holidays, for gifts, it just makes things a lot worse. And in my head, I will literally say things like, oh my God, this, thing that I tried this first time that other people have worked to, to hone in their craft for years and years and spent their life making this their thing. I didn't do it perfectly, as soon as I picked up a new tool. Does that mean that I'm not a creative person? Does that mean that I have no talent? Any success that I've ever had in creating anything or making anything in the past, it was all just a fluke, it was luck, and I'll never make anything that's worthy again. I'm a fraud, I'm, XYZ, fill in the blank. You can see how this line of thinking doesn't really make for a very merry, cheery holiday mood, right? And then another way I think that we kind of get in our heads is that sometimes when we're giving gifts, whether they're homemade or not, or whether it's just something that we picked up for somebody, I think we can be really hyper vigilant about how the person is reacting to the gift that we're giving them. I think we might be looking for signs about how they really feel about the gift. And I know that this would come into play for people who might have OCD themes around like relationships. Let's say, for example, you have a hard time thinking of a gift to give your significant other, and you start to think, oh my God, well, I feel like since I love them, I should be able to know exactly what they want. I should have the best idea right off the bat. Does this mean that I don't love them? Does this mean that we're not meant to be? Does it mean that they are not the one? Are they going to break up with me? And all of this time that we've spent together has been a waste, and I'm going to end up alone, and all these things. And you can see how these thoughts start to build momentum. And then before you know it, you're in this rumination cycle and you're spiraling, and you're spending all your time now worrying your relationship is wrong. And it started out with something as simple as trying to think of a gift to give somebody. Another thing that I think of in terms of personally, things that I've experienced, I know that I have, sometimes when I start to think about the holidays, if I am like, you know what, no, I should get an early start on getting gifts together and planning where I'm gonna go and what I'm gonna do and who I'm gonna see and all of that stuff, I will start to run into those thoughts of, well, what does it matter? Because by the holidays, I'll probably be in jail, or I'll be dead, or whatever tragic scenario and tragic end, my OCD is always trying to convince me it's just like right around the corner. I still find myself thinking those thoughts and having those thoughts come up, you know, intrusively. And now, of course, they don't bother me as much because I've done a lot of work to work around them and understand why OCD is what it is and how it doesn't really represent anything about me. It's just my brain doing some weird thing. So I understand a lot more now that that's not something that needs to set off an alarm bell every time. And, you know, that's all work that I did through exposure and response prevention, or ERP. So when it comes down to it, OCD will take any chance it can to capitalize on any stress that we have in our life, whether it's some kind of like societal pressure or, you know, a family pressure to do something for the holidays, or just whatever it is, it'll find it. It'll use that as an opportunity to wheedle its way back into our thoughts. But it doesn't have to be like that. Like I've said before, I have found a lot of success through doing ERP, and I think that if you're willing to try, now is the perfect time to do so. I've also mentioned that NOCD has done a lot to make sure that therapy is accessible for people with OCD. You can go to NOCD.com or treatmyocd.com today to talk to a therapist that understands what goes into actually treating OCD. They're there not only to walk you through all the steps of ERP, but also to help you with all the other things that come along with living with OCD. So just remember, it's the holidays and you deserve time to recharge and be happy and spend time with your family and friends if that's what you want to do. If you want to go into the new year with a kind of different outlook, why not? Now's the time to start working towards that. And on that note, I'm going to get going, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.